Can Germany win the 2024 Euros competition under the likes of Julian Nagelsmann? The host nation have recently found some great form with the return of Toni Kroos, but will that be enough? Paired up with some world-class talents such as Musiala and Wirtz, this side is one of the favourites to do some immense damage during the international competition. Here is how you can set up Julian Nagelsmann's 2024 Euros tactics in FC24. The formation is set up in a 4-2-3-1 narrow shape. This formation will help maximize the creative freedom of players such as Jamal Musiala as well as Florian Wirtz, who will often look to attack the half spaces. The likes of Toni Kroos will be pulling the strings from deep, looking to orchestrate and dictate the tempo of the game, functioning largely in that half-back role that he is so well known for. This formation will look to get the best out of the players in the current German side. So onto Nagelsmann's tactics, and I will say they do tend to resemble a lot of the 2014 World Cup winning side. The defensive style will be set to pressure on heavy touch. Nagelsmann's side will still press but with more structure, maintaining defensive integrity whilst looking to exploit the opposition with aggressive sporadic pressing. The team's defensive width is set to 40, which can help the side set up those pressing traps in the central zones whilst also maintaining some good defense in the wider areas. The depth of the side should be set to 60, but if Nagelsmann's side is looking to put more pressure on the opposition, you can push it up to 70 in order to replicate the aggressiveness of the side. The higher line will push the ball-playing centre-backs higher up the field and have them very involved in the offensive play, whilst the mid-block approach can help protect Nagelsmann's side against swift counter-attacking chances. Moving on to the German side's offensive tactics and how they will more or less look to set up when in possession of the ball, the build-up play will be set to slow build-up. This will help the side build up in a 2-3 shape, allowing for the likes of Kimmich to help operate in those central midfield areas. The slow build-up approach will help the likes of Toni Kroos get on the ball at a deeper rate and dictate the tempo for the German side. The chance creation should be set to forward runs. Now this will help encourage the fluidity in that front four, allowing them to pass and move in those short, tight, narrow spaces and create the interchangeability in the front line. This will look to facilitate dynamic attacking patterns whilst also vacating the wider areas for the bombing on marauding fullbacks. The width of the offense is set to 40. Now this will help the front four essentially interchange positions and have that narrow attacking presence, and again vacating those wider spaces for the overlapping fullbacks. Under normal circumstances, Nagelsmann doesn't look to overcommit too many players into the attacking area, so the players in the box should be set to 5, providing a bit more caution to potential counter-attacking opportunities if the build-up play in the attacking zone does break down. So you will have a sufficient amount of players on the edge of the area looking to either counter-press or get back into their more natural defensive shape. And then finally, the corners and the free kicks will be set to 4. Taking a look at the player instructions, and we'll start off at the back with the goalkeeper, and of course that is Manuel Neuer, and he'll be set to come for crosses as well as be a sweeper keeper. The goalkeeper is very important as he looks to add a controlling element to the defensive third, and he'll also look to initiate offensive moves with his precise distribution. The roles of Antonio Rudiger as well as Jonathan Tah will be the same, and that is set to balanced instructions. Both the centre-backs will participate in the build-up play from the back, whilst also having the license to drive with the ball forward and then potentially going ahead and spraying those line-breaking passes either into the midfield or into the forwards. Now moving on to the role of your fullbacks, both Kimmich as well as Mittelstadt will be very involved in the attacking outlets of the side, so both of them will be set to join the attack. But the one alteration that we do see between the two is the fact that Kimmich will be set to having a mixed attacking run pattern, and this will more so allow him to be very involved in the build-up play, helping generate that 2-3 system and shape when building out from the back. But at the same time, we haven't only seen Kimmich operating that wider right space. It's been the likes of Kai Havertz, Musiala, with Kimmich also looking to drift a bit more centrally at times. So you still want him to more or less create those pattern type runs that he does necessarily make. And then finally, for both of your fullbacks, you would want and require them to stick to their natural positions. As you'll see here for the role of Mittelstadt, he will be set to overlap as he will more times than not provide a lot of the width down the left-hand channel. Now into the midfield and taking a look at your left defensive midfielder, and that will be the role of Toni Kroos, looking to create that half-back role for him, looking to try and dictate the tempo of the game and, create those rhythmic patterns of offensive play, dictating the tempo from deep, essentially. So the defensive behavior will be set to cut passing lanes. You want him, as well as Andrich, looking to break up the play in those central zones. But for the role of Toni Kroos, as well as Andrich as well, they'll both be set to stay back while attacking. More so, Toni Kroos looking to get on the ball at a deeper rate and, like I say, dictate the tempo and orchestrate the offense. The interceptions will be set to normal, and then you want him to be able to drift wide. Not essentially play as a deep-lying playmaker, but drift wide. And like I say, because Mittelstadt will look to bomb on and vacate that left-hand side, Toni Kroos will more naturally look to fit in that halfback role, which is quite nice and very realistic, might I say. And then, of course, the defensive positioning should be set to cover the wing. So now taking a look at the right defensive midfield, and that will be the role of Andrich. Now, he will essentially share similar instructions to what Kroos has, and that is cut passing lanes as well as stay back. But he will be in charge of covering the central regions of the field, acting as a more natural defensive midfielder. With the likes of Kroos drifting out wide to the left space and the likes of Joshua Kimmich drifting inward, you do want him at least covering those central zones, breaking up the play, and looking to just try and shield the backline as best as possible. So moving on now to your attacking midfielders, we'll take a look at İlkay Gündoğan, who will be starting in the more natural number 10 position. Now, he'll be set to come back on defense, and you want him dropping a bit deeper at times, linking up the play with Toni Kroos as well as Andrich in a slightly deeper role, allowing for the likes of Musiala as well as Wirtz to drift into those central areas if needed. But the ability for him to stay on the edge of the box, you want him, linking the play, facilitating offensive movements on the edge of the area. But every now and then, you do see him break into the box himself and get on the end of crosses or cutback opportunities. And a running theme in this, three just in behind the striker, this very fluid midfield attacking three, it will be set to free roam, and this will help them interchange positions, pull the natural shape and structure of the opposition's defense out of its, more natural positions, and it does create a lot of holes in the backline for your side to go ahead and exploit. And then another running theme for your front four essentially will be the fact that they will all be set to aggressive interceptions. You do want to have that sporadic pressing nature and system going, but you do want your front four at least disrupting the builder play from the back for the opposition. Now, out wide to your left and your right attacking midfielders, they will both have the same role and instructions going forward. Both of them will be set to come back on defense. You want them dropping back into that more natural defensive shape and structure if needed and if required, making it very hard for the opposition to play through them from the very get-go. As for the support on crosses, however, it should be set to balance, allowing them to break into the box every now and then or stay on the edge of the box and help combine and facilitate offensive movements. The positioning freedom, like I had mentioned, is going to be set to free roam for both, as you do want to have that unique interchangeability and fluidity in the front four line. And then finally, aggressive interception should be applied. As you'll see here for the role of Florian Wirtz, he's got the same instructions in order to replicate a very similar role on that left-hand side. Essentially, Kai Havertz is a unique player. He's very physical, he's very tall, he's very strong, but he's also got the unique touch abilities to be able to play that liquid, frontline football that Germany have been able to establish. Whether he can drop into the midfield, link up the play quite nicely, plays a false nine, or he can look to be a bit more of a bully and stay higher up the field and look to hold up the play and link it up very effectively with the other players in and around him. So in order to try and replicate this role as best as possible in FC24, the support run should be set to maintaining a balanced width. Now, this will help him drift when needed and if required, looking for him to try and, pick out his spots in the opposition's backline, or he can look to be the focal points in the offense and stay in those central areas. The false nine approach does get the best out of this side and create that liquid, fluid football, and therefore you do want him dropping a bit deeper at times, looking to interchange positions with the likes of İlkay Gündoğan or maybe even a Musiala or a Wirtz, depending on where they are in the game, as well as having aggressive interceptions, and then you want him to be able to come back on defense, and this does help him drop a bit deeper and sometimes even past the more natural number 10. And this, again, does create that nice element of interchangeability in the front four. And there you go, my dudes. That is how I would implement and replicate Julian Nagelsmann's Euro 2024 Germany tactics. If you have enjoyed the video, please don't forget to smash that like button down below, as well as subscribe if you are new. We will be making a whole host of different Euro 2024 tactics and all that good stuff, as well as, if you have Discord, the link is down below in the description. We have recently started the Brom Squad Gaming Discord server. We will be chatting about the Euros, the Copa America, as well as FC24 tactics. So if you are interested in that, go ahead, check it out. It will be an honor, an absolute pleasure to welcome you to the Discord. So like I say, if you have Discord, go ahead and check it out. But until the next one, until the next time, I hope you guys have a goddamn smashing day and enjoy the Euros.